Okay, hello and welcome back. Let's go ahead to the next primary doc here as part of this source analysis by giving you the background of the doc first and then the analysis and the chart together. In 1243, Pope Innocent IV sent Franciscan friar John Plano Caprini to Karakorum to meet with the Khalid Khan, the third great Khan of the Mongol Empire, to ask him to stop his attacks on the Christians. After a wait, Caprini was given a reply, part of which is reproduced here. And you say, I am Christian, I pray to God, I arraign and despise others. And how do you know who is pleasing to God and whom it allots his grace? How can you know it that you speak such words? Thanks to the power of the eternal heaven, all lands have been given to us to the sunrise to sunset. How can anyone act other than in accordance with the commands of heaven? Now your own upright heart must tell you. We, the Pope and monarchs of Europe, will become subject to you and will place all powers at your disposal. You in person and the head of monarchs, all you, without exception, must come to tender us service and to pay us homage. Then only will we recognize your submission. But if you do not obey the commands of heaven and run counter to the orders, we shall know that you are our foe. So once again, pretty powerful words, but really what this is, it's a written statement or of intent by a Khan to Christian leadership for the time, basically saying that the Khan essentially needs Christians to be subservient and loyal to the Mongol rule. And as you guys are aware, the Mongolians were able to establish a great empire mostly because people were able to be subservient to them. And the Mongols in many ways allowed their faith to still continue to be worshipped. So this shows that the Mongols were tolerant of other faiths, but demanded respect, demanding, of course, them to be loyal to the empire and, of course, to not get out of line. And so in a sense, we can learn a lot about their imperial rule in this way. Let's go ahead to document number 6. Back here, another passage of William of Rubruck's account of his travels in the Mongol capital, Karakorum. The next day, the Khan sent his secretaries to me who said, "Oh, our Lord sends us to you to say that you are here Christians, Saccharins or Muslims, and Tuans, Buddhists, and each of you says that his doctrine is the best and his writings that his books the truest. So he wishes you shall all meet together and make a comparison, each one writing down his precepts, so that he himself may be able to know the truth." Then I said, "Blessed be God who put on his Khan's heart, but our scriptures tell us the servant of God should not dispute, but should know how mildness to all. So I am ready, without disputation or contention, to give reason to the faith and to hope of the Christians, and the best of my ability." They wrote down my words and carried them back to him. Then it was told that the Nestorians that they should look to themselves and write down what they wished to say, and likewise to the Saccharins, and in the same way to the Tuans. So as you guys can see, what this message, or what this doc really is that this is a type of diary entry of William of Rubruck's account of the Mongol Empire in Karakorum. And in it, this shows the diversity of religion in the capital city and different perceptions of it. And this, once again, can be one of the deemed beauties of the Mongol empirical rule, that they allowed for so many types of diverse religions to exist and persist, while, of course, establishing strong dominion. Let's move on to the next and last two docs here for 7 and 8. So if we go back here, we need to go to the next document. And here's a little bit of the background right now. So, information on the source. Perhaps the most famous European visitor to China under Mongol rule was Marco Polo. He left Venice in 1271 and did not return until 1295. His account was treated with some doubts at first, though over time many Europeans had their views of China shaped by it. This passage deals with Kublai Khan, a grandson of Genghis Khan, who became the first Khan, or the fifth Khan, of the Mongol Empire and the founder of China's Yuan dynasty. Here Marco deals with Kublai's views on Christianity and other religions as well. Let's go ahead and read the doc right now. It was in the month of November that Kublai returned to Kablan, and there he stayed until February and March, the season of our Easter. Learning that this was one of the principal feasts, he sent for all the Christians and desired them to bring him the book containing the 4 Gospels. After treating the book to the repeated applications of the incense with great ceremony, he kissed it devoutly and desired all his barons and lords and their present to do the same. This usage he regularly observes of the principal feasts of the Christians, such as Easter and Christmas, and he does likewise of the principal feasts of Saccharins, Jews, and idolaters. Being asked why he did so, he replied, "There are 4 prophets who are worshipped and whom all the world does reverences. The Christians say that their God was Jesus Christ, and the Saccharins, Muhammad, and Jews, Moses, and the idolaters, Sakamya Burkhan, or Buddha. who was the first to be represented as God in the form of an idol. And I do honor the reverence to all four, so that I may be sure of doing to him what is the greatest in heaven and the truest to him. I pray for aid. But on the great Khan's own showing his regards as truest to the best faith of the Christians, because declares it commands nothing that is not full of the goodness and holiness. He will not on any account alone the Christians to carry the cross before them. And this is because on it suffered and died such a great man as Christ. So what does this doc really say or show? Well, really in a sense, this is a diary entry, once again by Marco Polo, who accounts for Kublai Khan's feelings on diversity of other religions and Christianity specifically. Now, this shows equality of respect for all religions in the Mongol Empire, but additionally, it also shows Khan's greatest respect for Christians and Christianity and honoring that sacred holiday. So you can already get a feel for his allure towards faiths like Christianity. Now let's go ahead to the last doc here in our set, document number 8. Here's some information on the source before we begin. The Mongol Ilkhanate was founded in the 1200s by Genghis Khan's grandson Hulagu in what is now mainly Iran and Iraq, nearby parts of Central Asia. It arose at first during Mongol wars against the Khwarezmite Empire, and at first the Ilkhanate was sympathetic to Buddhism and Christianity. But after 1295, its rulers embraced Islam, and this passage is by the Persian chronicler Ata Malik Jilani, who worked for the Mongols. In it, he describes the results of the Mongol destruction of a Shiite group known as the Assassins. From Ata Malik Jilani, Genghis Khan, The History of the World Conqueror, and it's translated by J.A. Boyle. Here's what the doc says, and it's actually relatively short. So, was the world cleansed which had been polluted by their evil? Wayfarers now ply to and fro without fear or dread of the inconvenience of the paying a toll, and pray for the fortune of a happy king who uprooted their foundations and left no trace any one of them. So what this doc essentially shows is that the passage is by a Persian chronicler, sorry for the typo there, or a storyteller, or a scribe. And it essentially describes in great detail the destruction of Shiite group known as the Assassins. Insofar as much to say that the world was cleansed by the mass killings by the Mongols of the Shia in this particular region. And I think once again, this just shows the sheer, intense takeover of military force and brute might of the Mongol forces in this part of the world. So as you guys can see, there's a great deal that we can learn from primary documents when it comes to learning at different people throughout world history and world cultures. And so they give us great in-depth detail and insights into who these people are and what they're known for. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good luck with completing the rest of the lesson.